Chad, is it done? We'll start with your prayers. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Aviravirmayedhi. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim. May we be protected, may we be nourished, may we strive with energy and vigor, may our study be enlightening and not give rise to hostility. Om peace, peace, peace. Lead us to truth and not to untruth. Lead us to enlightenment and not ignorance. Lead us to immortality and not death. Let the self-manifest Atman manifest in me through and through. Om, O Bhagavad Gita, with which Partha was enlightened by the Lord Narayana himself, and which was incorporated in the Mahabharata by the ancient sage Vyasa, the Blessed Mother, the destroyer of rebirth, showering down the nectar of Advaita and consisting of 18 chapters upon thee, O Bhagavad Gita, O loving Mother, I meditate. By the grace of Lord, we have gathered here to study His message. It is perennial message, as we know. It is life-giving, and it removes all the confusions from us if we study sincerely and thoroughly. So this is a message that was given to Arjuna, but through Arjuna to all of us. Because we have the same question, same problems that we face every day. The problem of what is to be done. And we have various options. there what is to be decided on, where to go. In front of us, like Arjuna, Arjuna had a problem of facing a terrible death, terrible consequence of death. That means either he has to kill or he will have to be killed. So this is the situation. We don't face such a situation, but somewhat similar to it. And we are not out of it. All the time we suffer the same problem. Problem of what? To decide. To decide what is to be done. Arjuna had very grave situation and he was not sure. And he admitted it. Karpanya dosho pahata sabhava prichhamitam dharma sammudha cheta. I have a problem of miserliness, karpanya dosh. We have also same thing. Karpanya dosha upahata sabhava. Karpanya dosh means not to use our own resources. A miserly person has lots of resources, but he does not know how to use it. We have also lots of resources, but we do not know how to use it. And what to be done? So karpanya dosha upahata svava, it says that yaha atmanam aviditva, without knowing one's own self, who lives this world, sa kripanaha, wo kripan, he is a kripan. Kripan means miserly. Miserly means one who does not know how to use his or her own resources. So Arjuna was suffering from this disease, confusion. Karpanya dosha upahata svabhava prichhami tam dharma sammudha cheta. I am confused. What is my dharma? What is to be done? And this is what all of our problems. If we see every day we have to decide, we have to do this or that. And as we know, there are two things that we have to decide. One is Sreyaha, one is Preyaha. Preya is what is pleasing, what gives us temporary joy, but ultimately it leads us to ruination. The second one is Preyaha. That means it may not be pleasing, but that is good for oneself and good for the society. Though it may look like a great harm is being done on someone, say like a person, like killing those people. So it is not easy to understand. That's why he said that karpanya dosha upahata svava prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta. I am confused in my dharma. Please tell me what is to be done. Yat sreha syat nishchitam bruhitam. Whatever is good for me, please tell me. See, like many times, who can decide, he excels. And in spiritual field also, we have to decide what is my goal, what is my aim of life. Is it that whatever we do every day and we end up there? No. We have a goal set, then that is knowing the self. Atmanam aviditva asmat lokat praiti. He who departs from this world without knowing his own self, he is miserly. So with this, then Bhagavan told him in the second chapter itself. Bhagavan said that what is the characteristics of a sthita prajna, stable-minded person. And there he gives a set of qualities. Those are important, and those are manifested in the person of sthita prajna. That means those whose intellect is quite settled. And there we find that he says, let me take some quotations. Because Bhagavan said, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva karotiya. So one should be established in oneself. Yogastha. That means one should be united with God. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva, without being attached, either aversion or attachment. One should perform one's duties. So this is a very difficult situation. So Bhagavan later he said that the qualities are starting from prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanavatan. Say dukheshu anudvigna manah sukeshu vigatir spriyaha. And one should, he whose mind is not shaken by adversity, who does not hanker after happiness, who has become free from affection, fear and wrath, is indeed the Muni of steady wisdom. And similarly he listed a lots of qualities. Now Arjuna became confused, because at the end of second chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna praised knowledge. But he was engaging him in action. So third chapter was dedicated to show how to work, and the process of working. And then fourth chapter again praise of jnana, knowledge. So naturally it was Arjuna's intention that why should one engage in difficult tasks like war and waste his time and energy if one has to excel in one's life. It is better to go to hills and dells and go and meditate and have Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana and get free. Why Sri Krishna was engaging him in this terrible work? So that was the situation. And same thing, it again and again, that same confusion comes to him. And he asks in the beginning of fourth chapter that beginning of fifth chapter, he says, Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha samsashi. Renunciation of action, O Krishna, thou commendest, and again its performance. Which is the better one of these? Do thou tell me decisively. Because Bhagavan said in fourth chapter, Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. There is nothing purifying as knowledge. Therefore, and at the end, what he said? Tasmat ajnana sambhutam. Therefore, cutting with the sword of knowledge, this doubt about the self, born of ignorance, residing in the heart, take refuge in yoga. Yoga means karma yoga here. That means performing work, you are to remove your doubts. So this is the situation. Now let us come to our context today. And after the divine vision of God, that means Vishwarup Darshan, the universal form of God, Arjuna had again similar doubt. He again wanted to know which one is the best. What is preferable? Please tell me that. Bhagavan at the end of 11th chapter, so he said, Mat karma krit, mat paramo, mad bhaktaha, sangavarjitaha, nirvairaha, sarva bhuteshu, yaha samameti pandava. He who does work for me alone, and has me for his goal, is devoted to me, is freed from attachment, and bears enmity towards no creature. He entereth into me. He merges in me, O Pandava. So this was the situation that after the vision of universal form, God indicated that all our actions, um, all our actions should be without attachment, without aversion, and one should be equanimous to all living beings. And he attains to me. Now, again that same question comes to Arjuna. Now he wanted to know what is the best. Is jnana better or bhakti? So he asks, Evam satata yukta ye bhaktvastam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam abhyaktam tesham ke yoga vittama. Those devotees who ever steadfast thus worship thee, and those also who worship the imperishable, the unmanifested, which of them are better versed in yoga? It is human psyche that human being wants to know what is easier. If something is difficult, so he wants to avoid it. If there is a shortcut, so always we go by shortcuts. So he wanted to know this. And again, why? Because his task was not easy. His task was war against his own kith and kin. So it is natural that he asked this question. Now Bhagavan, in short, Bhagavan what he said, that one should be those who fixing their mind on me, worship me, ever steadfast, and endowed with supreme Shraddha. They, in my opinion, are the best versed in yoga. Now, there is one special thing in God. Generally what happens, if someone is suffering from a problem, we go and volunteer and tell him, okay, do this or do that. But God is not like that. God will intervene when he is sought for, when he is asked for. And we have seen in second chapter that until Arjuna surrendered, he never uttered a word. Only there was only one comment, that you are acting like non-Aryan, non-gentlemanly. And Aryan does not mean a race. Rather, who is polished, who is well versed, who knows what is to be done. So, only that comment was there from Sri Krishna. Otherwise, he was keeping mum. And when he surrendered, then only he opened his mouth. But generally our habit is that we go forward and suggest people, okay, do this and do that. Vyapareshu vyaparaha. There is, when we have no business there, but we want to engage ourselves there. There is a nice story, but I don't want to divert it. Story of Panchatantra, where a monkey intervened in something, like there was a pig, and he lifted it without any business, and he was in difficulty because one part of his body was stuck there. So we volunteer and we tell. So this is our nature. But what is nature of God? He will educate us. Educating means one attains, one have that capacity to understand what is good, what is bad, and then he can decide accordingly. We have to take decision. God will teach us. These are the various aspects. Now you pick and choose. So this is special in the way highly evolved people work. So here also we find that wordings are more or less similar, and God is saying that you are to work. You are to perform your duties. But do that duty in such a way that karma has natural tendency to bind you down. But that tendency you can do away by knowledge. So that you have to apply. So here also we find, he says this, those who fixing their mind on me, worship me, you are steadfast and endowed with supreme Shraddha, they in my opinion are the best versed in yoga. So that means what? Yoga, karma yoga. Those who perform their duties keeping mind in God, and also this way interacting with God, upasana, and who is full of devotion to me, such a person is yuktatama. Then he tells that those who worship my immutable form, they also will attain me. But it's very difficult because they have adbhir, those who are embodied. It is difficult for them to conceive something which has no form. But those who worship the imperishable, the indefinable, the unmanifested, the omnipresent, the unthinkable, the unchangeable, the immovable, the eternal, having subdued all the senses, even-minded, everywhere, engaged in the welfare of all beings, verily they reach only myself. They will reach. But kleshu adhikatarastesham abhyakta sakta chetasam. It's very difficult for a devotee to engage himself or herself to an entity which has no form. It's a there is a that it is yattad adreksham. That means ultimately if you use your intellect, you will understand whatever is limited, it has form. But God, how God can be with form? That question comes. So Upanishad says, yattad adreksham Yatta, anyway, so ultimately it says that God has no form, no name, no limitations. But it is difficult for ordinary people to engage oneself in such an entity. Abhyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadbhirvapyate. Greater is their trouble whose minds are set on the unmanifested. For the goal of the unmanifested is very hard for the embodied to reach. So, this is the problem for us ordinary people who cannot conceive something which has no form, no name, no qualities. Therefore, it is better for them to worship with form, because as Sri Ramakrishna says, that because of bhakti, by the influence of bhakti, that who is Satchit Ananda, like ocean of immortal awareness, immortal bliss, and also existence absolute, awareness absolute, and bliss absolute. He takes form out of compassion for devotees. Therefore, by the cooling influence of devotion, one can have a form of God, and he manifests in that form. So it is better to concentrate and meditate on him. Now Bhagavan will say, Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matpara. So again he says that all work should be dedicated to me. Sanyasya. Matpara. And one should be poised in me. One should be established in me. Ananyanaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. But those who worship me, resigning all actions in me, regarding me as the supreme goal, meditating on me with single-minded yoga, to these whose mind is set on me, verily I become Yarlong, O son of Pritha, the savior out of the ocean of the mortal samsara. So here, because of the devotion of a devotee, God takes a form, but that form is not ordinary form. Shuddha Sattvic Bhagavati Tanu, pure, unalloyed, divine form. See, Sri Ramakrishna, that form, it looks like a form, but as you go closer, then you'll find it merges in infinity. He gave himself some examples, like sky. You see blue. Why you see blue? Because you see from distance. Go closer and closer, you'll find there is no color in it. Mother Kali looks black. Why? It is because we see from distance. As you go closer, then you'll find she has no color. So this is because of our devotion that he takes a form. And that form is pure and sattvic. That means no trace of other rajasic or tamasic qualities. Only purity personified, purity as if compressed and made a form. So this form is to be meditated on. And what is to be done? Fix thy mind on me, only place by intellect, thy intellect in me. Then thou shalt no doubt live in me hereafter. So, that means in all our actions, we are to remember God, and we offer our activities to Him. Now Bhagavan says if you cannot do this, because he gives various options. It is not that he spoon feeds, rather he gives various options and one has to choose according to one's capacity. He says, if thou art unable to fix thy mind steadily on me, then by abhyasa, that means practicing again and again, abhritishcha yatra sthito yatnah abhyase chittasya. So what we do when we try to write something in our childhood, in the beginning we may fail, but by practice we perfect it. Similarly, we see sportsmen also. They try to achieve something and then by practicing they attain those. So he says, if you cannot put your mind in me all the time, okay, there is another option. What is that? If thou art unable to fix thy mind steadily on me, then by abhyasa you do thus seek to reach me. That means our goal is there. So we do japam. In the beginning, mind be waver. It can go here and there. But not to worry, but we have to try to practice, to put our mind in God. And this way, you have the desire to attain me. That also will do. If you cannot, again, another option Bhagavan gives, that if you cannot do this, abhyasepi asamarthosi, if you cannot practice this, then what to do? If also thou art unable to practice abhyasa, be thou intent on doing actions for my sake. Like Hanumanji. Hanumanji was dedicated for the work of Rama. Hanumanji only an example. But we have many dedicated people whose efforts are for God, whose all the resources are dedicated to God. So if someone cannot engage his or her mind in God, then one should engage in his work, dedicating himself or herself. So abhyasapya samarthosi matkarmo paramo, then my work should be supreme. That is why we put emphasis on karma yoga. A little time we engage and we offer our karma. That time we don't expect anything. And at the end of karma, then we offer that karma to the divine. Madartham api karmani kurvan siddhim avapsasi. By doing work for me, you'll attain that highest goal. Then Bhagavan says that if you cannot do that, then there is another option. What is that? If thou art unable to do even this, then taking refuge in me. So take refuge in me. Say like Girish Chandra Ghosh. He committed so many blunders in his life, but ultimately he took refuge at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. And we find in all incarnations, similar people are there who cannot perform anything, but they take refuge, even nowadays also. Even Guru Nanak says, knowing this whole world is created by God, take refuge in Him. Rahiyo Ram Sharanai, Rachana Ram Banai. This whole creation is created by God. Therefore, be at His, or take refuge in Him. So this way, also, what will happen? That means all our actions, all our thinking will be dedicated to God. Say Girish Chandra Ghosh, what happened? Sri Ramakrishna told him, okay, at least you remember God in the morning and do some japa and dhyana, and in the evening also. So he said, Sir, I don't know when morning happens and when night happens, I don't know anything. And doing japa, that's also very difficult. He said, okay, if you cannot do this, at least do make one pranam in the morning and one pranam in the evening. So he said, I don't know when morning happens and night happens, because it's all one to me and I engage myself in various activities, so I cannot do that. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, at least remember me. Then remember me whenever it is possible. I'm not telling exactly what happened, but this is the idea. But after saying this, Sri Ramakrishna was waiting for his reply. But Girish Chandra said nothing, because mentally he was thinking, if I commit myself, then my rebellious mind will tell how to break it. So he did not commit anything, he was waiting also. Then Sri Ramakrishna ultimately said, okay, if you cannot do that also, then give me your power of attorney. That means whatever happens, it happens because of me. I mean, every power is given to me. Then Girish thought, oh, it is very nice. I have nothing to do and it is all his business. But later, Girish Chandra said, and he agreed to Sri Ramakrishna, okay, I give you a power of attorney. And later, he could not do anything wrong, because he thought, oh, it is being watched by Sri Ramakrishna. And whatever he did, he remembered God, because all the time he was thinking of Sri Ramakrishna. So later he said, why should I I have agreed with him, because now I understand how difficult it is. Even his son died, wife died, and he could not lament that much. He said, okay, it happened because Sri Ramakrishna wanted to do in such a way. So, what happens when we dedicate or take refuge in God? That also is possible, because then our thoughts, our actions, everything is dedicated to God. So Bhagavan says, if also thou art unable to practice abhyasa, be thou intent on doing actions for my sake, even by doing actions for my sake, thou shalt attain perfection. Then he said, if thou art unable to do even this, then taking refuge in me, abandon the fruit of all action, being self-controlled. So one thing is to be done. One has to dedicate the fruits of action. One should not hanker for the fruit of actions. You'll get the result in its natural course, but one should not engage one's mind to get those results. Then he is bound with those actions and the fruits thereof. Then Sri Krishna compares what is greater, so that Arjuna can pick and choose, or for that matter, we also can pick and choose whatever is good for us, whatever is doable by us. So he says, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. Better indeed is knowledge than mere practice, mechanical practice. So, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. Jnana means here to develop such an understanding by which one knows that no actions are being done. Naiva kinchit karomiti yuktam anyeta tattvavid. knower of self knows that I am doing nothing. It is being done by nature. Prakritehe kriyamanani gunaihi karmani sarvasha. Every action is being done by three binding forces, three guna, three uh, strings, prakriti, and these are happening in prakriti, in nature, but in reality it is not happening. Na kartavyam, na karmani, lokasya srijati prabhu. I have no duties. Na kartavyam. Na karmani, there is no action. Then how it happens? Lokasya srijati prabhu. This is being generated in the process, in the system. Na kartavyam, na karmani, lokasya srijati prabhu. Na karma phal sangyogam. Even I do not link the fruit of action. Then how it is happening? Ajnane navritam jnanam tena muichanti yantava. How it is happening? It is the confused person who thinks it is happening. So this is Jnani's standpoint. What I am saying, say like in our dream we see so much of things happen. But when we wake up in the morning, we know that nothing happened. It happened in our mind. So Jnani knows that though everything is happening, but in reality it is not happening. See, if you see, this earth is moving in a tremendous speed. It is moving in its own axis. It is moving surrounding the sun. It is moving surrounding a greater sun with the whole solar system. And the galaxies are also moving, so tremendous speed. They have calculated over 65,000 miles or kilometers per hour. I mean, tremendous, and there is no calculations. But if you see as a whole, no action is happening. This is all our ajnanena avritam jnanam tena muichanti yantava. So this happens because of confusion. Those who are covered by ignorance, by them it looks like it works. But in reality it is not working. It is not functioning. The action is not being performed. So this is Jnani's standpoint. So Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. So it's better, those who are mechanically practicing, it is better that they follow Jnani's path. And jnana dhyanam vishishyate. It is better for a person who doesn't want to follow the jnani or like practicing. So what is better for them? Dhyana, meditation, constant remembrance. And why for? What is to be done? The mental modification is to be stopped. It is mind who is taking various forms. It is modifying itself and showing various colors like kaleidoscope. So if one can stop this kaleidoscope, then it will shine by itself. So dhyana. Dhyanam vishishyate. And there is another way, that is dhyanat karma phalatyagam. It's better to just dedicate or renounce the fruit of actions. And why it is so? Tyagat shantir anantaram. Because when you renounce something, then you are peaceful. So what happens, there is that story of kite. a kite got a fish, and it was holding that fish in its beak, and thousands of crows were following it. And wherever it went, crows also went. In that process, the fish was dropped. Then all crows were after the fish, and they left the kite. Then he understood, oh, it is because of the fish. So we also want to hold the fruit of action, and then we are in trouble. But if we can renounce the fruit of action, then this consequence cannot touch us. So that is why Tyagat Shantir Anantaram. Then it is peace and peace all over. So the ninth shloka is given for Abhyasa, ninth shloka. This is 12th. And 10th is knowledge and Atmanishchaya. And 8th was Dhyanam. And 11th was Karma Phala Tyaga. So this is the gradation God has given us here. Which one is better, and which still better, so he has given. Better indeed is knowledge than mere abhyasa. Abhyasa means practice. So knowledge is better. Meditation with knowledge is more esteemed than mere knowledge. So with meditation, then one is aware of one's divine nature, and all the mental modifications are nullified. Then shines the real nature within. Better indeed is knowledge than mere abhyasa, practice. Meditation with knowledge is more esteemed than mere knowledge. Then meditation, the renunciation of the fruit of action. So fruit of action is better because peace immediately follows renunciation. So ultimately we are to renounce. Actually we cannot hold anything. Everything comes in time, everything goes in time. It looks like we are holding, we are possessing, we are hoarding, but in reality things come, things go away. That is why renunciation is better, renunciation of fruits of action. But we have to perform our duties. It is ordained. If we don't do, what will happen? As we have understood in that shloka, we have right to function, but no right whatsoever on the fruits of action. Karmani eva adhikara ma phaleshu kadachana. Therefore, one should not engage oneself for the fruits of action. That means he should not be all the time thinking about it. Then he cannot perform properly. But one has to perform actions. Why? Otherwise he'll be attached with non-functioning. So we are to perform our duties, but renunciation is the way. Sarvavastu bhayanidam bhuvininam vairagyam eva abhayam. Everything is fraught with fear. Everything is fraught with all the difficulties, problems. Only vairagya, renunciation, is the way which is without any fear. And it is said, Tyage naikam amritattva manas. It is renunciation that leads to immortality. We may think, then how our families will be run? Not to worry, it will run. it will run. But in a better way it will run. So now, after comparing, after giving the various options, now it is open for all of us. Whatever is suitable for us, one can follow. And there is nothing lower or nothing higher. Say a child is admitted in kindergarten, or maybe standard 1 or 2 or a grade 5 or 10. How does it matter? It's only in course of time he'll attain whatever the, the educational excellence. So it doesn't matter whether one is kept in one grade or another. One has to start, that is important. To achieve any goal, we must have one thing, that hunger for goal. If there is hunger, then somebody will come. What is the process? Then the second one is the process. And then there is in the first one has to set the goal. For hunger, then there will be a goal. And there will be a process also to attain that. And one has to be careful about deviations, not to deviate from the path. But ultimately one has to start to achieve that goal. Start is very important. Like we start from our home. If we don't start, we cannot reach Vedanta society. So, first we must have the hunger for the goal. And then we have to set that goal. This is my goal to reach. And then there is a process. One has to start for that. So this is, though gradations are there, but it depends on our start. Then it's only time that will reach the highest. Now comes, he gives a lots of qualities. Adveshta sarvabhutanam, maitraha karuna evacha, nirmamo nirahankaraha, samadukha sukha kshami, santushtaha satatam yogi, yatatma dridhanishchayaha, mayarpita manobuddhir yo madbhaktaha same priya. Who is my dear devotees? So he gave a list of qualities. We have understood from devotee's standpoint. Let us think about it. From Jnani's understanding, Adveshta, that means who is free from hate. Who can be free from hate? From devotee's standpoint, everything is God. God has created. So, I should not hate anyone. But from Jnani's standpoint, that all whatever is created, actually it does not exist. Like a dream. For him it is like dream. So it doesn't matter whether it was a nightmare or bad dream or whatever. So he never hates. Hate means what? We admit the existence of somebody else. So devotee knows that everything is God. So he does not hate. Even a person may come and thrash him, but the jnani, he knows that though it seems that is being acted on me, but in reality, nothing is happening. Only thing, it should not be in words. Like Sri Ramakrishna would tell Krishna Kishore, Katani, Khochani, Ami Kha. When Krishna Kishore used to say, I'm kha. Kha means akasha, space, without any taint, without any blemish. So one day it happened that tax collectors came and auctioned his pots and pans. So Sri Ramakrishna went to see him. What happened? Why you are so morose? He said, all these pots and pans. He said, you are kha, you are space. Why should you worry? So Jnani should not be in words, but he knows that in reality it's all dream-like, not dream. But a devotee takes, okay, this is Leela of God. Like a monk, this is also from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, was going and he saw two people who are fighting with each other. So he came in between and said, don't quarrel with yourself. But the man was very angry and he's leaving that person aside. He beat that monk, and monk became unconscious. Hearing this, the abbot went there and brought him to the monastery. And after a certain time, then they were feeding milk. So they shouted at his ears, "Tell me, who is feeding you?" So he said, "He who beat me is feeding me now." See the devotees or devotee's standpoint, that he thought the person who beat him is God himself, and the person who is feeding him milk now is also God himself. So this is the attitude of devotee. But here also one should be sincere. It is not wordings only. So adveshta, that means not to hate anyone, either from devotee's standpoint or from jnanis. That means the person who is fully poised in knowledge, from that standpoint. So this is adveshta sarvabhutanam. Sarvabhutanam, not only say like one person loves his pet. He loves his pet but he hates other pets. Not like that. Sarvabhutanam, all the creatures. Everything is created by God. Therefore he loves all, hates none. Maitra. Maitra means friendly. And also karuna, compassionate. Evacha. So compassionate, not thinking that they are low, but it is empathy, sympathy. That is the best devotee must have this. Nirmama. Nirmama should not be like heartless. Mamata varjita. That means he is who is free from the idea of mindness. Everything belongs to God. Or from the Jnani's standpoint, that nothing is there. So this idea, that free from the idea of mindness, everything belongs to God. Like I went to a family. So I asked, in your society everybody applied for a plot of land and they constructed their building, home. But I see you are renting a house, you live here. The Swamiji, what is there? We too are there, we live this world, and we have no issues, no children. Why then to construct a house? And not only that, this fridge and this, that, I told him, everyone, if anyone wants it, they can take it. I bowed down, mentally bowed down, not physically, to him. If Even we monks, if something is missing, we are disturbed. But this is a family man who said, I told everyone if someone wants something, without asking, he can take it. So this is nirmama. He, I don't know his mind, but even saying this is not easy. And he said that my wife also uh, agrees to me. If somebody wants anything, they can take it without asking. So nirmama, that's the idea. I think today we stop here. But we'll continue. It's a wonderful study. And this is really lifts our life to a greater height. Even when we think about it, we study this. That is why we in the beginning pray that, O Mother, O loving Mother, Bhagavad Gita, I meditate on you. So this is a meditation, and this meditation is very uplifting. This is a kind of exercise, but this removes the veil from our sight, and it lifts our spirit and takes us to a greater height. So with this we pray for everyone. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tatsat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you very much. It's God's grace that we are here. Chad.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, let me sow pardon. Where there is doubt, let me sow faith. It is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born to eternal life. If you want your dream to be, build it slow and surely. Small beginnings, greater ends. Heartfelt work grows purely. If you want to live life free, take your time, go slowly. Do few things, but do them well. Simple joys are holy. Day by day, stone by stone, build your secrets slowly. Day by day, you grow too, you'll know heaven's glory. If you want your dream to be, build it slow and surely. Small beginnings, greater ends, heartfelt work grows purely.